Hello everybody. Today we're going to see how I draw Axiom. Alright, as usual I'm going to start off with a quick sketch, mostly for myself, to make sure I have everything that I want in here. I'm trying to think of a good action pose, you know? He seems like an action character. I mean, they're all action, right? I mean, they're all basically like fighting skins. You know, I get that, but I don't know. Just something about him is very action man. You know, super hero pose. So yeah, I guess that's what it is. I think of him as like a superhero. You know. Even though it's just a skin and he's just doing his thing, to me he's like a superhero, you know? So I kind of want to put him in a action pose. I know you can't follow along right now because this is pencil, but this is just going to be mostly for me. So I make sure that I got him in a good pose. And I just got to make sure real fast that I give him enough detail that you can tell it's you can tell it's him, and B, that we add enough detail to make it fun, you know, because that's kind of why you're here. And I would hate to miss out on something because I was moving too fast, you know. So let's just draw a few more things here, just to make sure I have enough detail. And then I'll switch over to a Sharpie, and you can join along, because you'll be able to see what I'm doing much better. Okay, and this is where it's getting tricky, because I've got him in a certain pose that's overlapping, and you know, I can only see so many things, so I just got to make sure I have enough in here. All right, and I got to draw stuff at different angles than what is in the character's pose, from images that I get online or from what I found just by researching them. Okay. So I think I might have enough here that I can get started. But again, let me just add a few more things, because as I start drawing too, that's when stuff just kind of either disappears or falls to the wayside, because it's got to work, right? And again, that's why you're here, is to draw all the fun, cool detail and not miss anything. Because I would hate to be drawing something and you're following along and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, you forgot to add this, or you forgot to add that, and that was the whole reason why I'm here. Because I wanted to see all that. So, okay, I think I've got enough in there. I think I'm just going to erase just a little bit, though, because I've got a lot of pencil lines in here that are going to need to disappear. Okay. But it got me the pose that I wanted, so it'll work. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to a couple of Sharpies. You're welcome to start with a pencil or start with a Sharpie. This is just so you can actually see what I'm doing now. So I'm going to do a few little things in Sharp Sharpie, Pen Sharpie, I guess is what this is, so I can get the detail in that the fine point Sharpie, which is super fat, can't quite get in. So I'm going to start with, normally I start with the eyes, so let's do that. And I know they're not really eyes, I know it's his little tri-eye mask, you know. But for now, we're just going to call them eyes. So I'm just going to draw those three and then build around it. Okay. And there's a couple more I'm going to do. I'm not going to go too crazy. There's a lot of color built in here, but I'm not going to go too crazy. Just enough that I can draw the 3D version of it, because I'm drawing it a little differently than, like I said, than is normally seen, because of the angle that we have him at. So I just gotta draw a few things here. I'm gonna draw his nose now, like that. And so this is gonna be the edge of his face. So I'm going to thicken that up just a little bit for my own purpose, just because coming back in with this Sharpie is super thick. And it's going to look weird if these parts are super thin and the other parts are super thick. But I'm also going to use that to my advantage on certain parts, okay? So let's draw his top lip down to his mouth like this. And then I'm going to draw his bottom lip like that. And his chin has that little mask connector right there. So now that I've defined that, I can just connect the other part of the chin that I didn't draw, and then the rest of it can follow around. And I think I'm going to switch over to the big Sharpie now, because that's all I really wanted to do, was add the facial features. And the rest I want to be uniform with the big fat Sharpie. So let's switch that over. Okay? So let's draw, so I don't confuse you, let's draw his jaw. I'm going to come up like that, and then I'm going to draw the rest of his head, okay? And we'll just do like this, just to draw a couple of lines, because he's bent. And so you have lines like this where his neck is bent. So you have to draw a few of those. You don't have to, but it makes it look more real if you draw like the edges, you know? And let's see, his mask comes back, but we're going to draw his head first to give you an idea of where we're supposed to be. Okay? And I can draw, let's see, the mask is already drawn, so I will just draw the straps going back like that. And he's got more detail here, so we're just going to kind of do some things like this to accent where that is. And then we'll just kind of draw, let's draw one line like that, and draw another thin one over it like that. And that'll accent thick versus thin, and the look of his mask or hood thing that he's got going on, okay? So now I gotta, here's the tricky part. I gotta draw everything squished over and hunched over. So he's got a big collar that we're gonna draw next. Okay, and everything else is gonna go around that. So we kind of have to play with what we can see and what we can't see. So I'm gonna draw his little connector belt thing like this, and it's going to go over to his chest like that, and that's going to dip down to there. His arm's going to start there, so we're not going to go any further. I'm going to connect that there, and then this one I'm going to bring it down like that, and then connect it over. It's going to connect there and go back around to his his backside. So let's just bring it back over like this, and then connect it like that. And there's a lot of detail in him. Him and Scion have a lot of crazy detail that we don't really have time to do. So we're just going to accent. And what I did with her was just draw a couple of lines like this, just to show that there's other stuff going on in there, but we just don't have the time to actually add all that detail. And plus, sometimes these drawings are so small that you don't want to add all that detail, because it's going to just get muddy, you know? So let's do that. And so now I can draw the rest of him. So his arm's going to be up here, his waist is going to come down like this, and I can add on to the rest. So he's got a shoulder piece that has some bumps on it. So we're going to come down, add a little bump, and just kind of connect it like this. And what I want to do is add the accents like that. And that's why I did the bumps, just to add that little accent like that. Okay? And so let's continue this arm since we're already here. So he's got some little details that we don't want to go too crazy with, but we're going to do like that. That's all we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing over here, just like that. Then bring it down to the arm, okay? So there's the elbow. I'm going to come down to the forearm, and I'm going to stop right there. Close it off. And there's his other part of his wrist, and now I'm going to reconnect that. So there's his arm, his forearm, down to there, okay? And he's got some really cool details that we're not going to go crazy with. Again, just having a little bit of fun. But I want to add a little something. So we're just going to like connect it real quick, okay? Like that. And same thing with the other side. Just connect that. And I want to take care of the rest of this with coloring, but we're going to do something like this. And that'll at least give us something to draw, okay? So now let's draw his hand is going to be in a fist. You're going to have both fists, just to have some fun with it. Okay, and it's pretty simple. Then we're going to draw the gloved part like that. So that part's done and easy. So let's go ahead and draw his other arm. He's all hunched over. So let's draw his other arm like this. Draw those little things down to the elbow like that. And the reason I did those is like that. We're just going to add the little accents like that. Okay? So we're going to have his other arm in front of him. So let's draw this part first. Let's draw his hand. So his side of his hand is going to be here. The other one's going to be there. And it's going to come down. And his thumb kind of goes like that. And here's his knuckles to his fingers. So let's draw those fingers. We're just going to just do this. Pretty simple, pretty basic. And that's like this hand like that. So that's all we got to worry about. Okay, and then we're going to draw his wrist like that. So now we can just reconnect the rest of it. And I'm going to connect that because just how close that is and the way it is, it just helps you to define certain features. And see, we kind of got away with having to draw the rest of this. There's a lot of folds and creases in there, so we can do something like that, but there's so many that we can kind of get away with. That's all we got to do, you know? We'll do one like that, and then this will be that line that we drew over here, and we can just do like that for the coloring. So see how we got away with a whole bunch? And now we can do the rest of them. Again, he's hunched over, so certain things are going to be seen and certain things aren't going to be seen. So his pack, I'm going to kind of do like this. And the reason I did it is because on his side it's like this, but now it's kind of up like that because of the way his leg is more at you. So we're kind of drawing it on its side like that. Okay, so you're no longer looking at it like this, like that. So I kind of raised them up, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other one and just kind of 3D it is what I call it, to give it that raised look. And there's again a lot of detail in these, but we're not going to go crazy. We're just going to kind of do that. Okay, let's connect that to connect all of our lines. And so now let's draw his belt. And it's going to connect to everything. That'll also give us edges to work with and give us things we can build off of. And he has a really cool chest piece, but it's kind of covered up right now the way he's hunched over. So we're not going to worry too much about the detail. We're going to do this, and then coloring will take care of the rest. Some fine detail, you could do something like this, but again, it's kind of covered up by his hand. We kind of got away with it, that we don't have to draw a lot of stuff, you know, so let's just do that, and that'll take care of that. Okay, so let's draw his hands. His legs are spread out, and they're kind of stretching the material, so we got to remember that when we're drawing him. So his one leg is going to start right there. That's the middle. One leg is going to come in like this, and that's where his knee pad's going to be. The other side of the leg is going to come out like that, and let's go ahead and draw those knee pads to define where we are, okay? And give us our focal points. So again, it's kind of stretched out because he's hunched over. So we're going to do that, okay? Does that make sense? And there's the back of his leg. And so see, so because he's hunched over, his pants are creased and wrinkled. And we could just do something like that. And to help show too, we can just do this with his pants, like his zipper, you know. There are other lines that are going to define this edge too, but we're going to do that with coloring. This is just to help you understand the creases and the bends that we're putting into him, okay? So again, let's just finish off with the knee pads into his legs. So let's do this for the knee pad. And his legs kind of are one piece. They're kind of cohesive, so we don't have to worry about where those connect. We just have to basically draw him down to the boot. That's all we got to do. Because all this stuff is molded into the shape. And that has a certain look that he has on his front leg. That's the best way I can describe it. So I'm just kind of accenting like that. So see, that's what I like to do, is thick and thin and it accents. It looks really cool, you know? I think so. So I like doing both at the same time. So let's do this other leg over here too. So this one's going to come out like this, and that's going to come down. Well, we'll do the heel over here. All right, so down to the heel like that. And because it's the front, I can pretty much just do those lines without having to do the edges. So we'll do something like that. It's not perfect, but it's adding a little bit of the fun drawing to it, okay? So now we just got to draw the front of his shoes. Let's draw the top of the foot bent over to the toe like that. Top of the foot to the toe like that. Bottom of the foot to the heel like this. Bottom of the foot to the heel, but you can't really see because of the way it's facing. And a few last little things we'll do, because we're going to do coloring with the rest, is I will add some creases and bends like that. This one has one too, we'll just say it. And he's got some cool little details in his shoes that we can add just to give it his style, you know? Okay, so I say we take care of the coloring for the rest. So for now, that is Action Pose Axiom. So here is my colored version. You could do it however you like. I just thought I'd show you how I decided to color it. If you'd like to color it like this, you can always pause the video here and use the coloring techniques that I used, or you can just make it your own. Remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.